On July 18, 2024, a NASA rover found something on Mars that scientists cannot explain without considering the unthinkable. I'm FactSpark. If you want your brain broken on a weekly basis, subscribe. Let's go. Here's what was discovered in a region of Mars called Bright Angel. 3 things showing up together that, on Earth, only appear in one specific situation, when bacteria have been alive for billions of years. Iron minerals shaped in strange patterns, organic compounds, all 3, together, in the same spot. Most geological explanations, the ones that don't involve life, have already been ruled out. This is, without any competition, the most exciting thing we have ever found on another planet. And I'm not here to break down the chemistry of the discovery. What I want to do is something almost nobody has done yet. Imagine day 0, the moment it's confirmed. What actually happens next? Because the answer will blow your mind, and it might terrify you. The very first question scientists would need to answer is deceptively simple. Is Martian life related to us? When your DNA builds proteins, it follows a rulebook. Every amino acid, the building block of proteins, only gets produced when a specific trio of DNA letters appears. Map out all those trios next to their corresponding amino acids, and you've got the genetic code. Here's the wild part. That code is almost identical across every single living thing on Earth. A bacterium living in a volcano uses the same rulebook as you do. That's not a coincidence. That's proof that every living thing on this planet descended from one common origin. So what happens when we run that test on a Martian fossil? There were 3 possible outcomes, and each one leads somewhere completely different.
Outcome 1. The Martian genetic code matches ours. This would mean life on Earth and Mars share the same origin. But which one came first? And here's where it genuinely gets strange. Mars is actually the more likely birthplace. Here's why. When a massive asteroid slams into a planet, it can blast chunks of rock into space. Those rocks can carry microorganisms, drift through space, and land somewhere else. It's called panspermia, and it's a real scientific hypothesis. Now, Mars has weaker gravity than Earth. That means it's easier for rocks to escape into space from Mars than from Earth. So statistically, if life traveled between the 2 planets, it probably went Mars to Earth, not the other way around. Let that land for a second. You might be Martian. But there's a third version of this scenario that takes the origin even further away. What if both Mars and Earth were seeded by the same meteorite shower, coming from somewhere else entirely? We could have been born in the deep ocean vents of Europa, Jupiter's moon. Or we could be fragments of a planet on the other side of the galaxy that exploded billions of years ago, scattering life across the Milky Way like dandelion seeds in the wind. And, lowest probability, but not 0, we could be someone else's experiment. Here's a question I want you to answer in the comments right now, because I genuinely want to know. If it turned out we were seeded by an intelligent alien civilization, would that change how you live your life? Think about it. We'll come back to what the answer might mean later. Outcome 2. The Martian genetic code is completely different from ours. This one is arguably the most important scientific discovery in the history of humanity. Because if 2 completely independent origins of life appeared in the same solar system, our small, unremarkable corner of one average galaxy, then life isn't a miracle. Life is what the universe does. It would mean that virtually every planet with the right conditions has, or had, microscopic life on it. And if simple life is everywhere, then the probability of intelligent life existing elsewhere shoots through the roof. 2 independent genesis events in one solar system would be statistical proof that the universe is teeming with life. Let that sit. Outcome 3, something in between. An exotic version of the genetic code that's related to ours, but mutated in ways we've never seen. This would tell us life can evolve its own fundamental rulebook, something biologists have debated for decades. Any of these 3 outcomes would be the biggest scientific event in human history, and yet each one drags with it a whole new set of questions we haven't even started thinking about.
Now, here's where it stops being just exciting and starts being genuinely important to understand. Martian fossils, if they exist, would give us something Earth can never give us: a window into how chemistry became biology. How did life come from nothing? On Earth, we will almost certainly never know. Our planet has active tectonic plates, massive slabs of crust constantly moving, subducting, melting, recycling. The rocks that contain the fossils of life's very first moments were destroyed hundreds of millions of years ago. Mars doesn't have that problem. Mars is geologically quiet. It has a few volcanoes, and that's about it. The ancient rocks there have been sitting undisturbed for billions of years.
If life ever existed on Mars, the fossils are still there, and they could answer the deepest question in science. How does a universe with no life produce a universe with life? But, and this is crucial, fossils are just the beginning. Because if life existed on Mars, there's a real chance it still does. Mars is not completely dead. There are regions beneath its crust with residual heat. There are underground deposits of liquid water. Liquid water plus heat equals the only environment microbial life needs to survive. If the Bright Angel sample is confirmed, we might not just be talking about ancient fossils. We might be talking about trillions of microorganisms alive right now, hidden beneath the Martian surface, completely unaware that a primate on a blue planet 400 million kilometers away just found their hiding spot. Now, at first glance, microscopic alien life doesn't sound as dramatic as a spaceship landing in Times Square. But think about what it actually means. A brand new biosphere, an entirely separate tree of life. New genetics, new chemistry, new molecules we've never seen. The pharmaceutical implications alone are staggering. Life on Earth has given us antibiotics, antivirals, cancer treatments, all discovered by studying organisms and their chemistry. A second biosphere would be like discovering a second Earth's worth of biological tools. Our understanding of genetics and evolution wouldn't just grow, it would be rebuilt from the ground up. Biology would have a renaissance. Chemistry would have a renaissance. Philosophy, well, here's where things get darker, and I need you to stay with me here, because this part is almost never talked about. Humans are extremely good at making things go extinct. We don't even have to be trying. The dodo bird was wiped out not because anyone hunted it to extinction on purpose, but because Europeans brought mammals to Mauritius, rats, pigs, dogs, that the dodo had never encountered and had no defense against. Thousands of years of isolated evolution, gone in decades. Now imagine we send humans or probes to Mars, carrying Earth microorganisms, as we inevitably would, and those Earth microorganisms encounter Martian life. Earth life has been forged in one of the most brutally competitive environments in the known universe. Billions of years of predation, parasitism, arms races between species. Our microbes are optimized war machines. Martian life, by contrast, has probably been sitting in a quiet underground environment with very little competition. Sound familiar? The dodo, but at planetary scale. We could accidentally sterilize an entire alien biosphere without even knowing it. But, and this flips the terror around completely, it could go the other way. Martian life has survived for billions of years in conditions that would kill almost anything we know. Extreme cold, intense radiation, minimal water, crushing pressure. What if those organisms landing on Earth found our planet to be an absolute paradise? Warm, wet, full of nutrients, and full of life that has never built any defense against them. Some plants on Earth depend entirely on nitrogen-fixing bacteria to survive. If a Martian organism outcompeted and eliminated those bacteria, it wouldn't just kill the plants, it would tear apart the base of the food chain. Entire ecosystems gone. This is why one of the first decisions after confirmation would be deeply uncomfortable. Do we allow any physical exchange between the planets at all? Should we establish contamination protocols so strict that interplanetary travel becomes almost impossible? If Earth is the one at risk, perhaps travel to Mars becomes one way. You go,
you don't come back. And then there's the ethical question that I don't think anyone is truly ready for. If Martian life is only microbial, no intelligence, no awareness, no civilization, is it ethical to terraform Mars? To flood it with Earth life, transform its atmosphere, and in doing so, drive the Martian biosphere to extinction? In exchange, we get a second home for humanity. Is that trade worth it? I don't have the answer, but I think you should sit with the question, because the decisions being made in the next few decades will be made by people who have never been asked to think about it. And then there's the angle that hits closest to home for billions of people. The discovery of independently originated Martian life would not just challenge religion, it would challenge the specific foundation that the major monotheistic religions of the world are built on. The idea that humanity is the center of creation, that we are the point of it all. Many believers would say this doesn't contradict their faith, that God could have created life on Mars too. And that's a fair position. But the deeper shift isn't theological, it's psychological. The entire framework of meaning that billions of people have organized their lives around, their moral systems, their afterlives, their place in the universe, is built on a model of reality where we are special. Not just special among animals, special in the cosmos. Finding a second Genesis would not disprove God, but it would make the universe feel very, very different.
And I think the emotional and social consequences of that shift are deeply underestimated. Right now, Bright Angel sits on the Isidis Planitia, a flat, ancient plain on the Martian surface, holding its secret. The only way to unlock it is to bring the sample to an Earth laboratory. There was a mission being developed to do exactly that. Then, the current United States administration's budget forced its cancellation. Now, it depends on Congress. The most important question in human history might be answered or permanently delayed by a budget line. We are closer than we have ever been, and we might be about to look away. If this video made you think, share it with someone who needs to ask these questions too, and answer that comment question. I'm reading every single one. FactSpark. See you next week.